Welcome to the No More Late Fees podcast. I'm Danielle.
And I'm Jackie, and we're just two best friends and ex-Blockbuster employees rewatching some of the best and worst movies from the late 90s and early 2000s. This week, we're spooky light and kicking off November with the 2001 Pixar classic Monsters, Inc. To help us out is our resident movie guy, list lover, Scott enthusiast, and all-around awesome guy, Nick. Welcome.
Hey.
We threw all the superlatives at
you. They're all true. All those things you said were true. So yeah. Thank you.
Monsters, Inc. is a story about two monster besties, Mike Wazowski and James P. Sullivan, whose lives are turned upside down when they meet a human child named Boo. The introduction of their new friend makes the duo question their internal moral compasses and the ethics behind the company they so thoroughly enjoy working for. What happens when two monsters realize things may not be what they think?
Excellent synopsis. Did you write that on your own?
I did.
Yay! I'm proud of you.
The movie stars John Goodman, the voice stars John Goodman, Billy Crystal, Steve Buscemi, James Coburn, Jennifer Tilly, and Mary Gibbs. Written by Andrew Stanton and Daniel Gerson and directed by Pete Docter. You can find the movie on Disney Plus if you want to pause this and go watch it, or if you want to rewatch after we do this wonderful episode. But before we start, let's get into our ratings rewind.
So you know the drill. Before we get into the movie, we'll reveal the rating our Y2K versions of ourselves would give. Then at the end, we'll see if our current selves agree with our initial rating. Our scale consists of would buy it again.
The best, would play and repeat.
5-day rental.
Would watch again.
2-day rental.
Okay, nothing to write home about.
And same-day rental.
Trash heap. I love that I can keep on giving some new life to trash. All right, Nick, we're going to start with you. What is your rating for Monsters, Inc.?
Yeah.
Your Y2K rating.
Yes.
Right. So like 17-year-old me, when this movie came out, I had just started working at Hollywood Video, and I, as a young adult, bought Monsters, Inc. So definitely would buy it again, because I definitely bought it even as a 18-year-old kid. I was into it. So yeah, would buy it again. Was definitely what Y2K me did.
Jackie?
I did not own it. I want to say I probably watched it once or twice. I'm going to go 2-day rental.
All right. Y'all ready? I never saw this movie in my life. Never seen it.
Now, so like I would be worried, but like, so like, cause there's like a zone where I wouldn't expect people to watch kids movies, right? Like, I don't know, maybe from like age 18 to 25 or whatever. Like you're just not into that. But I know that you were watching like other kids movies of the time.
I was sitting watching Disney Channel all day, kid.
What were you doing?
Not watching this movie. Not watching this.
Do you feel duped yet, Nick?
This is not what I signed up for. This is unbelievable. Y'all are a mess.
So my sister and I sat down to watch this movie, and I said, Serena, I don't think I've seen it. She didn't even get upset at this point. She already knows. She's like, no worries. She pulled up the Disney Plus account. She's like, you'll like it. I said, all right. And that's how it went. At least it wasn't a memory issue this time. I legit just never saw it. I don't know what it was. There was nothing about this movie at the time that made me say, oh yeah, like this is what I need to see. Like the plot, the eyeball wasn't attracted me anyway. The fur, the little
Mike's one
kid.
eye was off-putting.
Yeah, I was just like, this don't seem. Toy Story, you got me. It pulled to my young at heart, like, because I was obsessed with playing with Barbies and dolls. Like that was my thing. I was not a let me play with some monster one-eyed things. Like, so this wasn't it. And then you want to go to my childhood trauma, talk about you scared children for life? Nah. I'm not signing up for this. So this is Pixar's fourth feature. Its budget was $115 million, small bag. And it made over $577 million worldwide. That's insane.
Pixar can do no wrong.
Literally.
So it begins. We see a child sleeping in its bed, and we see a monster creeping in from the closet. The kid screams. The monster screams. He falls on Jax. There's Jax embedded in his butt.
Jackie, are we doing an audible of the damn book to movie? Like, what are you doing?
The simulation is terminated. I did beat poetry to Monsters Inc. What did you?
I think I'm not snapping for that. I'm not.
Nice.
Thoughts, comments? Not on my performance about the scene.
Nick.
So, okay, we're not talking about Monsters University. Like, this is about Monsters Inc.
Correct.
And there's weird, tricky things about like writing a prequel, because like you know how the prequel is going to end, right? Which is actually one of the really cool things about Monsters University is like we know how it's going to end, and they like tease you the ending, like it does never end. So anyways, the point is. What happened to the program at Monsters University that these are the recruits that they have? Like they have this amazing program where they're training these scarers, but then somehow like 10 years after Mike and Sulley leave this university, this is the crop of like these people graduated from Monsters University. Like what has happened to Monsters University?
Exactly what happened. When Monsters Inc. started their recruiting program, a direct funnel from the university. They had so many offerings. They had monster sleep programs. They had snacks. They had a cafeteria. They had buses, so you didn't have to walk or drive.
So this was Google for monsters?
Yes, they had perks and perks and perks. And then the corporation started to get greedy, right? Budget cutbacks, right? But yet the head CEO got a huge bonus. Well, they were still making, all the budgets were being met and projections were beyond. But they cut everything. They cut all the wonderful things. And, then they couldn't get the top. They weren't recruiting the top from Monsters University anymore. And so you started getting C, B classes, and this is where we're at 10 years later. It's not looking good.
It's not looking good for Monsters Inc. The future is not bright at Monsters Inc.
And they're not giving real benefits anymore. They're not giving good pay. They're giving these like stupid stipends for wellness checks that you should just be getting anyway,
That's it. It's that 1%, the bourgeoisie in the monsters world.
Yes.
100%. And they started doing research about, are we getting the most out of these scares? And then they found out that there was another alternative energy source. And then there was a problem that wasn't going to give them the money that they needed. So, they had to keep that hush hush.
Damn. This podcast, we took a left turn real quick.
We did. We're not even 3 minutes into the movie. We've done
suddenly we're deep diving about anti-capitalism and the end of big business and Amazon work ethics and My bad. I should not have brought it up.
I'm just trying to give you the answers to the questions you have.
It's good. That's good. I appreciate it. Better than all the answers you've been giving us before with all your rankings. If you want
Ours
to
rhetoric.
so-called rankings.
So yes, we see a monster in a simulation. My mind immediately goes to Kobayashi Maru.
Kobayashi Maru.
Yeah.
Never gonna get that one.
Thanks for the assist.
I don't know.
Where it's like the simulation that has like, you can never win it.
Yeah, it's designed to fail.
Correct. And so the monster is obviously learning, and number one, you shouldn't scream when a kid screams. That's probably pretty basic. You learn in Scare 101 at Monsters University. And then he left the door open, which
could let in a draft.
And a tiny human, potentially, which comes to play later. And then they also say there's nothing more toxic or deadly than a child. So
Agreed.
they are gaslighting these monsters into thinking that the kids are really the scary ones.
But are they wrong? Is that gaslighting?
So I think they truly believe that.
Yes.
I think everybody truly believes that.
Like if you touch a kid, you'll die.
I believe it. I just feel like somebody finally made a movie to start telling us some fucking truths in this life.
Moving on. And then the whole policy or the whole reason why they need to scare children is because their screams are a power source for the monster world. So they captured their screams in these canisters, which are then like converted into energy, I guess.
Yes. So the Monsters Inc. is a full-on factory pretty much, where all the monsters are kind of split into two different categories. You have the monsters who are A-level scares, and then you have, the helpers, B levels. They didn't make the grades at Monsters U, and they know their place. They're paper pushers. Everyone has a job. It's not that they're any less, because without them, their partners can get into some trouble, which we'll see in a few minutes. So yeah, it's a company, a factory, and it's almost like they're the power company of the entire city or whatever.
What's Kelsey Grammer's name?
Kelsey Grammer.
Isn't he the voice of the head honcho? Who's the voice of the head honcho guy?
It's
Danielle just listened to cast. Weren't you listening?
And
James Coburn.
Yeah.
I always thought it was Kelsey Grammer. Who knew?
Waternoose is the character's
Waternoose, thank you. So Mr. Waternoose comes in and he's shaking his head and he's like, we need more James P. Sullivans type thing, because Sulley is the number one scarer in the company, and his right-hand man is Mike Wazowski, who is also his best friend. So then we see a commercial featuring said Sulley, and Mike gets real excited, even though the logo is over his entire head. He's like, I'm on TV.
I love a humble short king. I just have to say that 100%. I love their dynamic, their friendship dynamic, and how they always support each other. There's no jealousy, which I think in any friendship, if you have any little smidge of jealousy, you're never going to make it. And these two, they're true blue with each other.
Yeah.
They're a team. And they work and they live together, and they're the best. And they balance each other out. I love it.
Yes. And so we see Mike and Sulley are walking to work, even though Mike wants to take his car. And this, I think, is one of my favorite scenes where you just see the monster world.
Yeah.
You see that there's all different shapes, sizes of monsters. The monster leg that he's like, hey, I don't remember the monster's name. How's it going? Apparently it was supposed to be Ted.
Sorry, his name's Ted. So Ted's
Okay.
walking to work, like, big deal. He takes 3 steps and he's there.
Yes, exactly. And apparently Ted was supposed to sound like Godzilla in response.
Yep.
And they couldn't get right. And so then he just walked like a chicken.
Yeah, but there's also a tie to, I think, Toy Story because of that.
Yes, because Pixar always does like bloopers or end reel credit stuff. And so at the end, they show it's Rex from Toy Story trying out as like the monster leg Ted.
Nice.
I love Rex. So yes, they're walking to work. You see like the crosswalk. It's a stock, don't stock. So they put in little things here and there that just make it a very immersive environment where you believe I'm in the monster world now. Here we go. What happens next? Oh, and then they walk into Monsters Inc. and the receptionist, Celia, is Mike's girlfriend, his lady love. She has Medusa hair. Her hair is snakes. And it is their anniversary. So they talk about going out after they get off of work.
And his buddy is so sweet because he got them reservations to a very fancy restaurant that there's no way he would have gotten on his own.
But I have a question about that. When they show up at the restaurant later, like their coworkers are just hanging out there. So how exclusive is this restaurant?
Well, go ahead, Nick. What were you going to say?
Well, I was going to say, like, there's an interesting dynamic in Sulley and Mike. Now, like, yes, they're a team, but there's always this kind of tension where, although I don't think Sulley sees Mike as like second fiddle, he kind of is, right?
Yeah.
And so Sulley always feels like we'll see later, like he can go and do things on his own without Mike, and Mike can't do those same things. And like Sulley is kind of a celebrity because he's the scarer, and like everybody knows like how good of a scarer he is. That's how he's able to get this reservation, because he's got the clout, but Mike doesn't. But it is kind of interesting of like, how much clout does it take to do you need to get this reservation?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think,
but apparently Sulley has whatever it takes and Mike doesn't, which is weird.
Which is the categories that, like Jackie said, to your question, Jackie, I think the reason that you see the coworkers there is because those are the most likely the top tier coworkers. And if they aren't, it's a similar situation with Sulley getting them, their Sulley getting them in to this restaurant.
The only other notable thing about this scene is you get the pet names Schmoopsy Poo and Googly Bear, which I really love.
And Celia Wheelia?
I'm gonna put that on my dating apps now. I'm looking for my Googly Woogly. Thank you.
Next time,
my Googly Bear.
Just a Schmoopsy Poo looking for a Googly Bear.
Next time we go to the parks, when I drag Ken next, like we are wearing shirts that just say Schmoopsy Poo and Googly Bear.
Poor Ken.
I mean, he's along for the ride.
He's a patient man.
He's a good sport.
He knew what he was getting.
So, I'm sorry. It wasn't their anniversary. It was Celia's birthday.
Her birthday. Yeah.
Yes. Sorry. I stand corrected.
And she's the receptionist. And so now we're in Monsters Inc. And
Correct.
We're getting a good feel of like how things run and all the background going on.
And the next scene, we are in the locker room. I guess you could get sweaty scaring. I'm not sure the real need for a full locker room. This isn't I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Well, we don't know their like whole anatomy,
It's true. I'm just saying. So we meet Randall. Randall is
that little bitch that is always competing with you, and you don't even give a fuck about him. but he's always in your shit and he always wants to do better than you. And he's always starting stuff that he can't finish. That's Randall.
Yes.
That's
I was
Randall.
just gonna say Randall was like a chameleon and could change his colors and go invisible.
But we'll go with that little bitch. I mean, that's
Yeah. He's
Go
a
with that.
color changing little bitch.
I felt like when I tell you that people don't talk about this movie enough as an office workplace situation, like we should be talking about this movie with Office Space. We should be talking this movie about the same amount we're talking about The Office, because there are so many things in this movie from an adult standpoint that this movie hits on, like little Randall bitches. Randall.
So is Randall the Dwight
No,
of Monsters Inc?
No.
Who is
No.
Randall?
Randall.
Maybe like the Toby, but if Toby was like actually a villain,
yes,
like if he was really trying to bring down the office.
I just feel like he's a Karen. You know, there are so many, and I even hate to say Karen necessarily because it's not a racial situation, but there are, especially when you work in an office, there are always people that their job may be the smallest, stupidest fucking thing ever, but they take it upon themselves to try to find power where there should be no power. Like Stacy, you hoarding the goddamn Post-its and thinking that you can give it out to whoever you want doesn't make any sense. You know, like why you don't, this is not your money for the Post-its. You know what I mean? But there's always somebody like that. And Randall is definitely bringing his home life to work. So at home, he doesn't have power or control over things. And so he is trying to find that at work.
Yeah. What's wild is, so Danielle, I'm sure since you only watched Monsters Inc. very recently, you haven't watched Monsters University.
Never heard of it.
Oh, figured. But the backstory they give Randall in Monsters University is actually really cool. And he's been, so to kind of just add to your analysis here, he's been holding this grudge for years.
Mhm.
Like years he's been holding this grudge against Sulley, and he's out for Sulley for, how do they end up in the like working in the same place? Like, I don't know, like how they haven't like, or actually here's another like adult parallel is like Randall's probably just making this a toxic work environment. And I'm sure Mike and Sulley have gone to HR and been like, this guy is he's just awful. And HR is like, well, he's not doing anything illegal. There's nothing we can do
Right.
about it.
Right.
And they just got to put up with him.
Yeah.
And he's been doing it for years. And they're just like, they just got to put up with it. And it's like, ah.
Well,
Therapy.
the part of Danielle is going to be played by Jackie today. Isn't this making Randall a way more productive employee that he holds this imaginary grudge?
Not at the expense of other employees. I think he is making it. So luckily, Mike and Sulley ignore a lot of his passive aggressive and aggressive behavior. But his partner, it's affecting his partner. And I'm sure he's not just being awful to Mike and Scully. I think it's
Right.
he's making other people's lives a living fucking hell. So yes, he is producing well, but at the detriment of others who probably aren't producing as well because they're in fear or having anxiety of having to work with this toxic individual.
Yeah, because Sully's always been good enough to like, he just like, I could ignore this guy and I'm just gonna blow him away. And
Right.
he doesn't matter to me. But Randall's better than a lot of people, and so he gets in their way probably quite a lot.
Yeah.
And also, should we like keep a counter on how many times we're gonna call him Scully?
All day.
So the whole purpose of the locker room scene is to not only meet Randall, but to establish that Sulley and Randall are like neck and neck to break the scaring record. I don't know how the scaring record is scored.
Yeah.
I don't know if the counter resets at a certain point. I don't understand.
It doesn't make any sense.
It made me feel as if it was a daily count that was happening.
But it's cumulative because they start at the top of the board before they even come to work. So it's like,
I don't know then.
yeah,
Who knows?
I don't know.
And other names on the board are employees of Pixar that worked on the movie.
That's
FYI.
Pixar's all about that, and that's really
They
rad.
are. And then the next scene, we meet this boss bitch right here, Roz. Roz gives 0 fucks and just wants Mike to turn his paperwork in at the end of the day. That's all she really wants.
Honestly, in the infancy of my work life, I have met a lot of Rozes. And I would always give them a side eye or think they were annoying. But I now feel like my evolution is turning into a Roz-like character, only because, you know what? Roz bitches, they come into work. They know what needs to get done. They're not here to make friends. Give me your fucking work and your paperwork so I can go home, get blitzed, and do my thing outside this
is
place.
Roz relaxing by getting high at night?
Oh, 100%.
Watching Wheel of Fortune and Jeopardy?
Getting all the answers right, by the way.
No. Roz is like a Dateline murder mystery, like
that's true.
Unsolved mysteries. Like she's in that zone. Like she's.
And on Friday, she's in a bowling league. Doesn't make sense, but she is.
I love it.
I believe it.
And she has a shirt that
Nailed
says
it.
Roz Ball Buster. That's what it says.
Roz the ball buster slug.
Oh my gosh. 100%.
And this is where we get the iconic line, I'm always watching. I love that. Now we're on the scare floor. And essentially these machines bring in the doors and set the doors down. And then the red light comes on, which means that they're active and you can go through them. And then the little partners set up the tanks that capture the scream energy, and the scarers go in and scare and then come back out, and then the door gets hoisted away. And it seems like that once you start scaring a child, they're always your child to scare.
You get that taste later. Yeah. With Boo, like Boo always gets scared by Randall.
Yes.
I wonder, I just want to know how like this system works. First of all, I want a sequel to the sequel of like where the doors came from. Is there magic behind it? You know, is it science? Like this is super weird, you know, and you know,
you get a little peek of that in Monsters University. Like in Monsters University, they talk about like there's a class on making doors and there's a class on making, like there is a science behind it, but that's as far as you get. That you just get like, hey, you could study these things and you can learn these things and you can do these things, but you don't really know how.
The cool thing about all the Pixar movies is all of the theories and all the Easter eggs that people dig through, and the fact that it's been thought that all of the Pixar movies are connected in some way. And even some of the Disney movies, the Disney animated movies, are all connected in one way. Mm-hmm. One theory is that Boo is the witch from Brave, and that she figures out how to travel in time to find Sulley and goes back to what she believes is the source, which is the will of the wisp. And that's where everything is started. And as a witch, she cultivates this magic as an attempt to find Sulley by creating the doors, going backwards and forwards in time.
That doesn't make a damn bit of sense.
The theory is that Boo discovered a way to use the doors to travel through time on her own, possibly by like developing magic on her own or figuring out magic. She probably went back in time to the Dark Ages to get like more magic from the will-o-wisps that you see in Brave.
Okay. And then got like stuck there.
Yeah.
That's I'm not.
There is a piece of wood in Brave that has the outline of Sulley in it. So there's like Easter
in her
eggs.
Little hut.
Yeah.
It's not just another bear because she's carving bears all day.
No, it's Sulley.
One of them is Sulley.
Yes.
It's Sulley.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you even
Okay.
see the Pizza Planet carved in the one of the wooden toys in her shop, which makes no sense because it's so far in time, right? Unless she's seen one before.
Well, there is actually, I mean, spoiler alert, but the Pizza Planet truck is in Monsters Inc. I don't know if y'all caught that.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's like so Boo exists in a time where Pizza Planet also exists. So Boo might actually have gone to Pizza Planet herself.
Exactly. Also, in Brave, Merida, there's scenes where she's opening doors and the witch is constantly disappearing. It's because those doors are made in the same way from Monsters Inc. that transport people across time. And that is why Merida couldn't find the witch later in the movie.
This is a fascinating theory.
There's a whole, like, there is a,
it dig is into
a deep dive. Yeah.
I think I should not be doing this podcast in the same seat that I do my teaching. Cause like I'm having a hard time. Like I'm like listening to this theory as like a professor of like, and I'm like, and I'm like, I need to stop. I need to knock it off.
But if you're interested, if you think it's cool,
fascinating.
Definitely check it out because these people got time on Reddit.
Apparently, good Lord.
So yes, now they're just working. Some of the other monsters need a little bit of assistance to be scary. Like one puts in scary dentures.
I love that. Let me get my teeth in.
One has no eyeballs and so just shoves a bunch of eyeballs in his head.
Like Mr. Potato Head.
What is scarier? Like 20 eyes or no eyes? I might be more scared by no eyes. Like what is
all of it made me itch. Taking them out and putting them in. I was not liking that.
Because if the eyes are not functional, then how does he even know where he's going? Is he like a bat?
Unless they are functional, and he's just like he could like Mr. Potato Head, like you just kind of carry them around, like whatever they happen to be looking at is what he's looking at, and just let me put them on my face so that it could all face the same way.
That's weird.
It's all weird. It's all so weird. Which can we just get, if we're gonna, let's go back to theories really quick and just get really weird.
Okay.
So the monster world and the human world exist parallel to each other, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Pocket universe.
Yeah, and the monster world needs the human world to like generate electricity. Yes.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
How did the monsters first find the humans without the use of electricity?
Well, we didn't have, as humans, we didn't have electricity.
Right, but it's just like, but I guess I'm just wondering, like, I don't know. It's just like anyways, like, yeah.
Maybe the worlds weren't separate before. Maybe they were together and there was a war between the monsters and the humans and they got separated on purpose and they had a treaty that they would stay separate, but they would be able to still use the power of the magic of the humans to power their world, but stay separate. And so that was a part of the treaty. And so that's why they came up with the lies that the children were like deadly. And maybe the treaty even came about was because they weren't using the humans as power. They were eating them directly. And so the treaty was like, stop eating us. You can drain the power in a different way. And this way we're keeping each other safe, but we're keeping each other separate. And so that's why the lie about the kids being very harmful and that you would die if you touched them was to prevent all the monsters from eating the children. Bam.
Wow. That's impressive, Danielle. Just made that up on the fly. My goodness.
Yeah, she's real good at stories.
Bravo. Wow.
Bigfoot found a portal and he was able to go back and forth. So he figured shit out. And that's why we see Bigfoot in the forest, but we can't ever find him because he disappears back in his portal.
Back to the monster world.
Back to the monster world.
Definitely. I think that's where all the monsters come from, pocket universes.
Yeah.
Anyways, moving on.
A kid almost touched the blue guy. And then they said, was the kid was not scared and
No.
almost touched the blue guy. And so the blue guy came
She
out.
was
and
only
he's-
6.
And then they're like, that's a dead door because the kid's no longer scared. And then they put it in the wood chipper.
Why are they shredding doors? Why are we shredding doors? Like what?
They don't, there's nothing they can do to turn this kid around. They know they're out of resources at this point. And this is also, listeners, this is a problem that's happening in the monster world, is that the kids are getting desensitized through media, TV, video games, and they're not as scared as much. And so this is causing a real hurdle for the monsters to get the scares and the electricity they need. They are in a global crisis.
Yes.
Their resources are diminishing.
Yes, we saw that on the newspapers in the opening scene, that this is a problem. They got a problem. But I'm just wondering, like, what if somebody else moves into that house? But they've shredded the door, but now they now they can't get back into that house. Like, people move all the time. They know the monsters aren't going to go in that room anymore if they shredded the door.
Or conversely, you've shredded all these doors and now you figured out laugh is more powerful than screams. And now you've shredded all these doors that could have potentially you could have used.
Yeah. Why are we shredding doors, y'all? Come on, that's wasteful. It's wasteful.
The only other thing that happens in the scene is Randall takes the lead for a brief second and then Sulley jumps ahead of him again.
I want to say that I legitimately laughed out loud watching this movie.
That's good because it's funny, because it's good. Where was it on your ranking again?
You can't blame me for putting it at number 4. You can't.
No, it's fair. It's fair. Pixar movies are excellent. So
they are. And then we see the orange guy. Don't know his name either. Nick.
George Sanderson.
The orange guy, George Sanderson, comes out, and because he's so fuzzy, my assumption is just static electricity, and he gets a sock attached to him, and so there is a 2319.
2319.
And the poor guy gets shaved. He's in a cone now. They even like put tape on his back where the sock was and like rip his skin off too. And then they put the sock on the ground and like drill this bowl around it and like implode the sock.
I looked away for a second during that scene and all I saw was ash. And so I said to Serena, oh my God, did they burn him? Like, that's a lot for a Pixar movie. And she said, yeah, at first, but I don't think she heard me when I said burn him. And I was like, I cannot believe, are you serious? And she was like, yeah, they burned the sock, Danielle, like, let it go. And I was like, oh, the sock. Okay. But I thought he was donezo. And then he looked totally different when he got back on screen. So I was confused because he's white and pale. I was like, oh, they killing dudes out here, burning them.
And
they take that treaty. They take that treaty very seriously, Danielle. You cannot break that contract.
And it is speculated that the code 2319 stands for the 23rd letter of the alphabet, which is W, and the 19th letter of the alphabet, which is S for white sock.
Oh,
fun fact. Wow.
People do deep dives, man.
Way too much time on their hands. My goodness.
Yeah, no.
Now.
So really quick though, the CDA. This is another thing that just blows my mind about the Monsters universe. Everything has to be custom made.
Yes.
Like, because every monster is such like a different size and shape, like nothing can be mass produced. Like I remember thinking that like with Sulley and Mike's chairs, like when they're sitting in their rooms, like that is very much a Sulley chair and a Mike chair. Like no one else could sit in those chairs. And like the hazmat suits that the CDA wear, like they've got different numbers of limbs, different numbers of heads. They're different. Like everybody has their own custom. Like nothing can be mass produced in this world. Like that is That is marvelous.
That's why they have to have some sort of magic or technology or something, because there's
That's
no
why
way.
they need all that energy.
Yeah.
They always just be making shit.
Doing a lot of work over there.
I think everyone goes to lunch. Is it lunch or end of day? Doesn't matter.
They have to shut down the floor. Because of the
That's
2319, they gotta shut it down.
Thank you.
And not Mike, Sully. Who's Mike and who's Sully?
Sully's the blue guy.
And
Mike has one eye.
Okay,
Sully.
so Mike wants to go get ready for his date, and he's ready to go. And here comes your girl. Your girl Roz is like, bitch, you better turn in your papers before you leave. And his girlfriend is like, we're going to be late for our reservation. So he's kind of in a bind. And his boy steps up. Sully says, okay, well, you know what? I can do the paperwork. I can do this for you. I can turn it in. And Mike is like telling him all the directions or whatever. It's almost like he got a mom night and the dad is left home to handle everything. And he's like, oh, I got this. As soon as Sully, as soon as Mike leaves, Sully is screwed. He don't know what the hell to do.
Leave the puce. I love the line that I love is when Sully finally looks at the paper. He's like, "Oh, that's puce." He like doesn't even know what the color. Like, what color is puce? Could you pick puce out of a lineup of colors? Like,
No.
I always thought puce was
so relatable.
Yellow, correct?
I don't even think I've ever heard of puce before.
I'm gonna Google it later. Yes. So Sully is supposed to be doing paperwork, and then he notices there's still a door in the machine and the red light's on. So he goes to investigate.
Which is where the problem began. Me, mind my business. I don't get paid for management status. I don't. So door out, not my problem. Not my problem.
And does he go into the room, or he just opens the door and peeks around and then closes the door?
He peeks in to kind of see, because like the light is on. He's like, he doesn't want to eject the door if somebody is in there scaring.
Got it. Yes.
So it's like, somebody in here? Is this gonna? And then he leaves.
And then he closes the door and he's like, that feels funny. And turns around and there is a tiny human playing with his tail. And he flips the fuck out because naturally children are toxic.
Kitty.
It is really sweet that she calls him Kitty.
It's really cute.
So let's talk about, so obviously we're meeting Boo for the first time, but let's talk about the voice of Boo, which is a really interesting backstory. One of the story guys, it's actually the voice of his daughter. She was very young at the time. She was two and a half, I think. Her name is Mary, and they brought her in initially just to record her voice because originally they wanted the Boo character to be about 6 years old. And then they realized it was not coming out right. They were all trying to do the voice for it. It just didn't feel authentic. And they wanted the child to be a little bit younger, more of a toddler situation to kind of be closer or hold on closer to Sulley. So have that attachment. So they de-aged the character and made her a little bit younger. And the funny thing is, if you don't know how animation is produced, and it takes years for these movies to be made. So it's not like a normal live action movie where it may take like a few months or at most a year. These take what, 2-3 years to produce.
Sometimes up to like 10 years. Like it's insane the amount of work that goes into an animated movie.
Yeah. So throughout the process of making this, she got a little bit older and developing her speech. In the beginning, it was just her making words. She could say the word kitty. So that's how that ended up. And so they kind of just would follow her around with a microphone and just ask her to do different things. It's just really super cute. I think she went in and asked me anything on Reddit, the actual daughter, Mary Gibbs. Yeah, I keep on wanting to call her Marla Gibbs. I got real excited at first when I saw the cast list, and I was like, Marla Gibbs, she's a legend. And then I was like, oh wait, no, that can't be right. That's not right. And I realized it was Mary.
And Boo's real name is Mary, in homage to the little girl who played her. She signs her name across some of the drawings in the movie. And then lastly, the song she sings on the potty was made up by the little girl who voiced her.
I think she made it up because they didn't want any copyright situations, but I think she was trying to sing the Beauty and the Beast song. And this is what we got. So I
like this better.
Yeah, it's super cute. I love it.
So Boo scares Sulley, and he kind of stumbles backwards into her room, touches a whole bunch of shit, gets tangled up, and runs out. He's running out. He's trying to pull all the shit off of him, like trying to figure out what's going on. And like, he also notices that Randall is like pushing canisters towards the door. Like Randall's essentially cheating to get the highest scare score. So it seems at this point.
Yeah, he would. Randall would. He's
right.
That guy.
And so Sulley kind of just like shoves everything in a locker. He's like, okay, I've gotten rid of everything. Turns around and Boo's like literally little spider monkey on his back.
How did he not feel that?
His fur was dense.
He's a big guy. He's not going to notice a tiny little kid on his back. I don't know. I'm pulling a Danielle here. I'm just answering questions on the fly.
That's how it is. That's what you got to do.
And the film was the first to introduce the on-screen representation of fur. And in order to animate each individual strand of hair on Sulley, Pixar developed a new software program called the Fits. And the process took approximately 12 hours to fill a single frame. And Sulley had more than 2.3 million strands of hair.
And one of the first things I noticed about the movie, like going all the way back to the Sully's wake up, like when we go out of the Monsters Inc., we meet Sulley and Mike. Is that first shot where he's like sleeping and snoring and you could like see his breath, like moving his hair? I was like, oh shit, animation in this movie just went up a notch. Like in 2001, like I was like, oh, we're doing things with animation now. Like, look at that. Look at that.
Yeah, it is a beautiful movie. It really is visually. I enjoyed that part.
And now we are at Mike and Schmoopy Poo's date for her birthday at the sushi restaurant.
That restaurant.
What is sushi? What is sushi in the monster world? Like, what are they eating and they call it sushi?
I imagine just Blinky the fish from The Simpsons.
They have a whole ocean full of Blinkies and they're just like
I wonder, are they I was like, are they vegetarians? But look, even in the back of your picture, Jackie, look at Mike's teeth. They do not look like a herbivore's teeth, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Oh.
Because they used to eat children for energy.
And there's like I love
that this is ongoing. Disney, send my check.
And there's a moment when like the sushi chef is like chopping stuff, like when we go into the restaurant, and I'm like, but I don't know the monster world though. Like those could be plants, but I don't know.
Look at those teeth, Nick. Look at those teeth.
They looked awfully aquatic to me in some fashion. And the one line that stuck out in this scene was, the first time I laid eye on you.
So I said to my sister, it's like they're dating. Mike's mouth is huge in comparison to hers. I was like, they can't even kiss. She's like, oh, they'll make a way.
But you got to think, like, so to go down a real, like, I don't want to go down this road, but like my head went there for a second about like, they all have to make a way. Like, how does any of that work in the monster world?
Like who's dating Ted?
Right? Who? I don't know.
Maybe there's a monster that can fly, so she's or he's I don't know.
There's someone out there for everybody, I suppose. But,
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah.
And now we see Sully is outside the restaurant in a panic. He has Boo in a bag. I'm not wrong, Danielle.
And it was like it's like a dog bag too.
It was like a duffel bag, like a gym bag. He just shoved a child in a gym bag and interrupted Mike's date. Celia's pissed. Her hair is pissed because it starts rattling at him.
And he's like, I'm trying to have a mom night. And here you go. You can't even spend one night without causing problems.
And then he comes in and tries to act nonchalant, like, look in the bag under the table. And the bag is running away.
And shenanigans from there on out.
Shenanigans, 100%.
It is this movie from this point on, the calmness, the fun, the beautiful stability is over. And it is
Out the
just
window.
pure chaos to the end of this movie. And I think that speaks to parenting. You have two people who are living their lives, they're working their jobs, they're at the top of this, the top at work. Everything is working out great for them. Life
You bring a
is
child into that.
fabulous. And then there is this being that comes into their life and completely disrupts everything. You can't do anything the way that you were doing it before. And now you have to figure out how to, all the needs of the child come first. And then it disrupts your relationship with your partner. Like the levels this movie has, the levels.
You are not wrong. You were not wrong, Danielle. You're not wrong. But then also, like, I think as a parent, it's important to note that like the love that these two have for Boo at the end, like, you know, after going through all of this turmoil and all this chaos, that relationship they have with Boo is unlike anything else they could ever have had with, you know, any other monster in the monster world. So you're not wrong, Danielle. You're spot on. Like this is a movie about being a parent.
Yeah, 100%.
Chaos.
Now we have gotten Boo back to Sully's house. Everyone has seen her. So like the hazmat team is out looking for her. There's a child loose. They're toxic. Sully's trying to hide her. This is where you see a really clear picture, like you see his recliner. It has like a little hole in it for his tail, like Nick was saying. It's very custom tailored to Sully. And the truest depiction of a child probably ever is when he picks her up and she full on sneezes in his face. I can't tell you. I don't have children, but as an educator, the amount of times I am mid-sentence and a child open mouth sneezes in my face, I was happy to wear a mask at school because I was getting a lot less mucus on me during the day.
Oh my God.
It is true. It is true. If we could just back up 1 second, it's like in the midst of the chaos, there's the news broadcast, which is another one of those, like, they have news broadcasts that are exactly like human broadcasts. Like the monster world and the human world are so parallel. It's funny to me. But anyways, the expert says now, like, it is my professional opinion that now is the time to panic. Like that line. I know you've mentioned it on earlier episodes of the pod of like how there's like a random line in a movie that's like, oh, like we say that all the time. And apparently we got that from this movie. That's one that we use in my house all the time. Like my wife and I will say that, like, oh, now is the time to panic. And like, it's like, oh, it's from Monsters Inc. Yeah. And also like in this chaos scene, in the scene we're in right now, I've never related to a character more than when Mike, when I forgot what happened. Like Boo's just like toddling around and like knocks over some stack of something that Mike has. And Mike's like, oh, those were alphabetized. And I'm like, I have never felt a character more like all this chaos. Like they're their jobs are gone, their world is gone, like they might die. But Mike's like, those were alphabetized. I'm like, Mike, I feel you on that.
Yeah, they bring Boo home and their whole life, their home life is completely thrown upside down. All of their stuff is not their stuff anymore. All their space is not their space. There's no personal space. In this time frame, Boo takes Sully's room, his bed.
She's like, nah, I'm good here, bro.
Yeah. And Sully's like, okay, all right, sleep in my bed.
Go ahead.
Prior to that, Mike has a teddy bear. No shame. I have my teddy bear.
Polly?
Polly, yeah, he's right over there.
I miss Polly. I haven't seen Polly in years.
So Mike has his teddy bear is named Little Mikey. I have a little Mikey that I got when I guess I had been working at Blockbuster a while because this came out in 2001, but we sold little Mikeys and I bought one and I have him. So I'll have to take a picture of little Mikey and me, but I still have him to this day.
That was the difference between Blockbuster and Hollywood Video. Apparently, we didn't have we didn't have merchandise for anything. We just had the movies.
Those were just the partnerships. That's all it was.
Yeah. So, like Danielle said, so Boo finds little Mikey. She's happy. She has her little snuggly teddy bear with 4 feet and 1 eye. And Mike's like, that bitch is mine. Give him to me. Takes him. And Boo starts hysterically crying. And then that's when, and like the power starts like flickering and stuff because it's a power surge because she's crying. And then Sully's like, you better give this bitch your bear because we're not doing this tonight. And so Mike very begrudgingly gives her little Mikey and she's super happy and like just la 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 la.
She I think she's the bear and I think he tries to give the bear back to her, but it's not working. It's Mike has to like hurt him or make her laugh before she calms down.
I forgot what it is, but somehow Mike goes tumbling across the room and like ends up in a trash can and like everything falls into his mouth. And like, I forgot why he went running across the room though.
I don't know if he had taken the bear and like moved it and then he had to run to go try to get it back or something. I don't know, but him giving back the bear did not work and he ends up falling and accidentally makes her laugh. And so we learn pretty early on that Mike and his anxiety antics. And if you have anxiety, this is the character for you. This is the character of anxiety right there. Which I absolutely love. And I think it's pretty cool. So we know that Billy Crystal is the voice behind Mike. And the way that he got this role, he was originally offered the role in another Pixar movie to be the voice. I believe he was offered the role of Woody.
Buzz.
Or Buzz, yes, Buzz Lightyear, thank you, of Toy Story. And he declined and later regretted that after he saw the film. And he would, the people behind Pixar were like, look, we promise you another role in another movie that's going to fit your personality more. And he's like, whatever you got, it's your movie, whatever you want me to be in, I will be in that movie. And then they like this role and Billy Crystal, it makes synergy, perfect sense.
Yes,
absolutely.
Now we see Boo is happy. She has little Mikey. They're tossing her their version of Cheerios, like just to make her happy. And like she's just catching them and eating her little Cheerios snacks.
And she's drawing, which is super cute. I love that he uses the fake Cheerios on the floor to try to get her to go where he wants her to go. I was dying.
And to sleep on a newspaper.
Yes.
He's treating her like a dog, like a pet.
Yeah.
And it, like you can tell they're still not sure, like, are children toxic? Do we touch them? Because at one point Mike says that thing is a killing machine, and she's just like humming to
Toddling
herself,
around.
like drawing, catching Cheerios.
It felt so real, and they really made a great choice of using a real child's voice instead of even a child actor.
Mhm.
Like the sounds that she makes is so authentic that it doesn't take you out of the movie. It really makes you feel like this is happening.
So now we're snuggled in Sully's bed in the middle, and he's just like, okay, good night. And she's like, no, you can't go. The door scares me. And she's pointing at the closet door.
She's so scared. Damn, Randall.
And she holds up a drawing, and you can see that it's Randall is her monster that comes and scares her at night. And so Sully's like, oh, it's Randall, and like kind of pieces it all together. So he stays in the room with her so she won't be scared. So she can go see bees. Yes.
No monsters in here just cracks me up. Like he goes into the closet, like, see, look, no monsters in here.
I like when he's like, oh wait, but I mean me, but there wasn't
Now
any
there is.
before.
I'm off duty.
And then more chaos ensues because it's the next day, and they have to figure out, Mike and Sully have to figure out what the fuck are they going to do. They need to get Boo back into this damn door. Mike is trying to assess because he left Sully alone for like not even an hour, and now he's got to clean up this mess. He's like, well, tell me about the door. He doesn't know anything. Mike is like, you don't know anything, Jesus Christ. And so they dress up Boo as her, like a little monster, so that nobody's suspicious, and they have to go back into Monsters Inc. But things are awry because there are, what is it? It's called the CDA. Is that
CDA, yeah.
Yeah, the CDA is everywhere. Everyone is on alert, and Mike is shitting bricks. He is scared. He is afraid.
Then Mr. Waternoose Cash walks in and is like, Sully, I need you to do some trainings today. And Sully's like, fuck, I got bigger things going on, but okay.
But I think Sully 100% takes the pressure of all of this 10 times better than Mike. Mike needs some Ambien to go to sleep.
Yes.
Not even a Zola.
Sully's the one that comes up with it's bring an obscure relative to work day. Like,
They've made up this random story that Boo in this costume is Sully's sister's daughter. Instead of just saying my niece, daughter. Instead of saying my niece.
Yeah.
And then we see them, they're in the locker room, I believe. And they're like, oh, she's doing a little dance of joy. And really, she needs to tinkle. And so that apparently monsters use toilets just like the rest of us.
And Sully dropped a line like, oh, we can't be in here. This is the men's room. Oh, so the monster world has a gender binary too. Okay.
Right?
And apparently that matters. That matters to Sully and Boo.
So Boo is just taking her sweet time, tingling and singing her little song. And Sully's just kind of like, here we are. How did my life take such a hard turn?
How did we get here? And I also feel like a good parallel again for parents. Like I'm sure there are moments you're like, what the fuck is happening?
Sully goes to check on Boo because she's not singing or tinkling anymore. And she's gone and she's playing hide and seek. So then he starts building a relationship with her building rapport, playing hide and seek. She's having fun.
And then Mike rolls up on them. He's like, where's the kid? He's like, oh, we're playing hide and seek. What are you doing right now? Do you not realize what kind of crisis we're in? What the fuck? And now they don't know where the kid is.
Mike, and it's also
it's Sully just so chill. Like she walks up and then Sully's just like, oh, there she is.
She's right here. She was here the whole time. It's fine.
These two are quite the couple.
They are. Co-parenting is hard, man.
Yes. 100%.
And Micah also has to go butter up Roz because not only does the door have to come down, you have to have like a key card and swipe it to get the door to open. And so he's trying to get the door key card file from Roz. She's like, did you file your fucking paperwork, Wazowski? And he's like, no, ma'am. And she's like, well, then I can't help you. How does he get the file? Does he trick her?
He doesn't.
No, he
No.
just
He doesn't.
He just
Yeah.
like
He
asks-
just grabs a random key card and like gets a random door. And so yeah, he never does get the file.
Oh, that's right, because he's like, here's her door. Just shove her in there. Here you go. And Randall does think it's his fault that the child got out at this point. And so he's looking for her and worried that like he's going to be found out. And then this is where Mike gets the incorrect door. And then put that thing back where it came from.
Or so help me. So help me. So help me.
Which is
The way-
also go
Oh,
ahead.
I love when Sulley comes in with the buzz. Like Mike just like they're such a good team. Like Mike just starts singing and Sulley's like yes.
I think Jackie and I could definitely pull that off. As you can see, I could come up with a story on the fly, and Jackie is very good at supporting my lies.
And John Goodman and Billy Crystal did record their lines together, which is a rarity in animation, but I feel like we got those really natural, funny moments where they were able to feed off one another because they were together.
Yeah, Billy Crystal said that he was filming he was doing his voice scenes by himself, and he just didn't like his takes at all. And so they got together in the same room to see if it would help, and it definitely did. So they didn't do all of their scenes together, but they definitely did a good majority of them, which, like Jackie said, ace.
Yes.
Yes.
And it's at this point where I realized, are her parents worried somewhere because Boo is not in her bed?
So I believe that the time is different in Monster World than it is in People World, because I don't think, like, when they bring her back, it's been a while. It's been like a night and a day, like more than 24 hours, I feel. And there's nothing. Like, I would imagine the parents being in the room or the lights being on or something, but it's the same scene when they come back. Time travel. Just
Okay.
I'm trying to see if there's evidence of that in like Monsters University or like other things. I'm like, maybe maybe like the human world just goes slower than the monster world.
Interesting.
But also another weird thing, the monster world knows all about time zones in the human world.
Yes.
Like they know exactly how time works in the human world. So they've got it figured out. Like whatever that difference is, the monsters know exactly how that works.
I feel like the monsters are more evolved than humans are.
maybe the monsters are the evolved versions of humans.
Perhaps.
Maybe that's the thing, is like time has sped up, that now they're just in the future. And that's like, whoa.
And we've evolved to this, to monster situation because we have been eating chemicals and toxins in our environment.
And Blinky the fish in our sushi.
Yep.
Yes.
I
Wow.
like it.
Yes.
Boo wanders off. Mike is still worried about the record for some reason. He's got his eye on the prize.
I should have left this podcast a long time ago. Oh my God.
That's why she keeps me around. I laugh at her
Wow.
jokes.
But yes, Mike is still convinced that Randall is cheating.
Yes, which he is, like, no doubt.
Yes.
And Celia comes in. She's in a cone due to the chaos of the night before. She is pissed.
Yeah.
At Mike.
100%.
Mike literally runs away from Celia and runs smack into Randall. Randall somehow.
Oh, that's right. Because Celia says like sushi, thinks about sushi. And then Randall realizes, oh, Mike was at the restaurant last night.
Yeah.
I'm going to talk to Mike.
And so Randall is like asking where Boo is because he's going to help. And he's just being shady bitch.
Which, by the way, this is one of my favorite lines in the whole movie is right here when like Randall is interrogating Mike and he's like, you know, what happens at 12 o'clock? And Mike's like, I get a timeout. Like, everybody goes to lunch. And what happens to this? And then the scare floor will be, and then Mike is like painted. And I just like, I don't know why, but it just like cracks me up every time Mike's like, the scare floor will be painted. I'm like, that's fucking hilarious.
The genius of Billy Crystal.
It's amazing.
And it's at this point, this part's a little hazy. I guess I tuned out. Somehow Sulley is in like the trash room, the trash compactor room.
I got you, Jackie.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Nick.
So it's just another thing. So Sulley was chasing Boo around. How did Sulley get away from Boo though?
I think
she got away somehow.
I think it's that hide and seek shit or something. Or
Boo joins the little
kids.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because it happens to be really bring your kids to work.
Right. Or they got one of the perks that they had was a daycare. Like that's one of the perks that we're using to bring people in.
Yep.
But anyways, like Sully's chasing Boo around, and he gets distracted. Like somebody asks him for an autograph, and he gets distracted, and he like takes it. But then like she like ends up falling in a trash can. But then like she climbs out of the trash can, but a piece of her costume is still in the trash can. So Sulley thinks that Boo gets tossed into the trash compactor when really she's just wandering around Monsters Inc.
And that scene is supposed to be an homage to some other old thing.
Yes. Feed the kitty, a Looney Tunes cartoon. Feed the kitty.
I was so sad. I was like, she's okay.
And the reason why he thinks that little cube is her is because her little costume with her little eyeball is sticking out of it. And so now he's just carrying this cube around, devastated that Boo
is a cube of garbage.
And here comes Mike and his anxiety, like, what the fuck is going on? Where is she? And they find her with the group of the other kids, and they're just chaos.
And then around this time, poor George goes into his locker. All of Boo's shit falls on him. They have another 2319. Oh, George, you should have stayed home.
Oh my goodness.
And then all the other children are saying Mike Wazowski, because that's the other thing Boo says. She calls Sulley Kitty and she calls Mike Wazowski.
How is it that she could say that whole name?
I think that's the joke.
Even I was struggling today to see that.
Oh, and then one of the actual baby monsters bites Mike, and Boo thinks it's the funniest shit she's ever seen. And so it's another power surge. And then they finally go, they see her. Is it her door?
Yeah, this is when Randall's got the plan. It's like, okay, look, I'll get the door to the station. You get Boo to the door. Right. Go. And then so they run into the scare floor. And Mike is just like, there's the door, just like Randall said. And Sully's like, whoa. You brought Randall into this? We're not doing this. I do not trust that
No,
monster.
anything that Randall wants us to do, you have to think that there's some hidden agenda behind it. And then this is the moment, this is the trigger where it goes from Mike probably being the more responsible one in the relationship to Sulley is 100% daddy bear.
Yeah.
I will kill you. Even you, Mike, if you try to take this child from me at this point.
Yes.
And he takes that role pretty seriously throughout the course of the rest of the movie.
Yes. So Mike, trying to prove to Sulley that it's fine, goes into the door, and Avi, Randall's in there. He like captures him. And so now Mike is trapped by Randall. Sulley and Randall thinks he has Boo because it's in the dark and he can't see. And so now Sulley is chasing after Randall, and then they kind of
he has them in this thing that looks like the canisters that they would have for the scares, but it's really like some sort of trunk. And so now he's like looking through all the other canisters to find that one. But Randall, unbeknownst to Sulley, has escaped into the secret lair area, and Boo accidentally actually opens it up. So they're able to go in there, and this is where they witness that there's this machine that Mike is all strapped up to, and Randall's second in command, his I don't know what that guy's name is. Do you know?
Fungus
is helping to monitor this particular machine, and they've got Mike strapped to it, and then Boo starts to get into harm's way, and so Sulley is now exposed, and then there becomes a fight between him and Randall, and Mike is trying to get out of the machine. Did I miss something?
Also, the fight with Randall comes much later.
Oh, does it? I started pushing everything together, but we gotta speed things up here. So Mike is trying to get out of the chair. We find out that the machine is like some sort of succubus of your life energy. Mike is able to get out of the chair and replaces it himself with Fungus. Fungus gets all sucked out. Randall is chasing Sulley. Yes, the fight is much later. Sorry.
But this is where they decide to go to Water News. They're like, like Water News is going to fix all this. Let's just go tell Water News.
Yes. So they bring Boo and everybody to Boo and Sulley and Mike go talk to Water News. They wait till the recruits are gone. They tell them what's going on. Water News pretends like, oh my God, can't believe this is happening, that Randall has this machine, and then jokes on the two of them, and they find out Water News is behind all of this corruption. And he is trying to hurt Boo. He now has Boo in his hands. Boo thinks it's safe, and he wants to put this poor child in this machine, and now he is also going to send Mike and Sulley into one of these doors where they're in the abyss. They're kicked out. They're no longer part of Monsters Inc. And no good. Not good at all. It gets
dark for a second.
It does.
Real dark.
I felt really sad about Boo. I felt like this was predators have this child, and I was very upset.
Yeah.
Is it at this point where like Water News reveals his master plan, and then it's revealed that they're actually in the simulation, which is recorded?
No, it's at the very end.
Later. Okay.
Yeah. But he does let it be known that Randall is a part of his corruption. And I think this part of the movie actually tells us and shows us that the time that happens in people in the human world is very different in monsters in the monster world, because the amount of time they get sent where the abominable snowman is, they are in like Nowheresville.
Welcome to the Himalayas.
Voiced by John Ratzenberger.
Legend.
Of course.
Pixar lore. And he does lament that he wishes he was called the Adorable Snowman.
So he's like ready to greet these two guys and
It's
welcome
like
them in.
friends. It's so lonely. Welcome.
And Mike and Sully have it out. All their issues with regarding Boo and also other things in their friendship. The fact that Sully is putting Boo ahead of Mike and his needs is really upsetting. And Sully's like, I'm out this bitch. He makes his own little
sled. Mike is freezing. He has like oven mitts on his
horns.
His hands and his feet, and he's still like teeth chattering.
Yeah.
And Sully
bad.
is because the Sully's like, where's the closest door? Like, I have to get back. They have Boo. And so the abominable snowman is like, oh, there's a village at down in the valley or whatever. And so Sully's like, okay, well, I have to get there quick, starts assembling a sled. And he's like, Mike, are you coming? And Mike's like, you're on your own, buddy. Like, I'm out. And so Sully's like, fine, okay. And I think Mike was trying to call Sully's bluff because in Mike's heart of hearts, he's like, no, we're buddies. He's not going to abandon me. He's not going to leave me behind. And Sully's like, I have to go rescue her. Like, she can't help herself. I'm out, and starts sledding down. He hits a rock, so his sled kind of disintegrates, but he's close enough where he can hear the screaming happen. So it is the scaring hour.
Yeah.
In the village.
It's convenient.
Yeah.
But
and he's able to hop into one of the doors and gets back to Monsters Inc. And that's where he is met by Randall, and they have a fight.
But first we get George's third 2319. Poor guy.
Oh, George.
Oh,
and
George.
At this point, he's like, you better not.
Don't you fucking dare.
At this point, Randall has made himself invisible, and so he is fighting Sully. And Mike appears. Apparently,
how did he get there?
He rolled. He's a circle.
Yeah, he probably probably went into the door. So again, talking about time, I feel like they were gone for a bit. In the human world, and by the time they come.
The abominable snowman offered them snow cones. He was getting comfy. He had new friends. It was definitely a time difference. Like, they spent a little bit of time in the Himalayas.
Probably hours.
Yeah. But by the time they get back to Monster World, not much has been done. They haven't even put Boo in the machine or anything. So they definitely have a time difference. And so then Randall and Sully start to duke it out. And then Mike comes out of nowhere, and he is still like in his own zone, telling him about like their issues. He's still wanting to argue and talk about that. And because he cannot see Randall, and he is not paying attention to the suffering in which Sully is like, I fucking can't breathe. That bitch is choking me. And even there's still no awareness, but Mike accidentally like hits Randall, and that's what is able to let Sully see him, and he's able to get him off, and they're able to like fight him or whatever.
And at this point, they've gotten Boo out of the machine, I believe.
Yes.
And they also have her door card.
Yes.
Key card.
Yes.
So then it's just even more chaos because Randall's on their ass. Water Noose is also aware of what's going on, and so they're on the doors are like a conveyor belt if you've never seen the movie, and so they're jumping from door to door trying to get to Boo's door. Nothing is working out well. Nothing is working
I have a
out
question. Why have they not made this a ride yet?
That's what I was saying. I'm like, the only reason why they made this scene so complicated and so convoluted was to make a roller coaster out of it.
100%.
Nobody's going to design a factory like that. Like, what purpose does that serve? Except to build a roller coaster in Disneyland. That's the only reason.
We've been waiting 20 years, Disney. Where's our Monsters Inc. flying door roller coaster?
And honestly, like, I don't know, like at Disneyland in Anaheim, they have like one of those roller coasters that's just like, all it is just like sharp turns and sharp dips. And it's like, it's very small and compact. And it was called like Mulholland Madness, but they've rebranded it to something else. I forgot what it is now. But I'm like, that just rebrand it to Monsters Inc. Like, make it the Monsters Inc. roller coasters. No, I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Disney, send us our check again. It's like, we're doing the work for you.
Please. Come on.
Anyways, they just have plenty
why are
of
there
work.
millions of doors? Why is this happening?
Yeah. And it was very reminiscent of like Inside Out, how the memories worked. It gave me that feel, how it was like all organized and stuff. It just, the memories used like bank teller chutes, whereas the doors were on this weird dry cleaning conveyor belt.
Yes, it did give me dry cleaner vibes.
Yes.
It made me remember I had to go pick up mine.
Yes, they're hopping in and out of doors, trying to get away from Randall. At one point, Randall has possession of Boo, so they're trying to get close to him. And Sully's like, oh, the power is killed at one point. And so Sully's like, Mike, you have to make her laugh. And so Sulley like slaps himself with his own eyelid. Boo starts laughing.
Danielle starts laughing.
This is another line that we use all the time when because like eventually like Mike can't make her laugh and he's like, these are the jokes, kid. I love that line.
And then Boo actually gets angry and starts jumping on Randall and like pulling his antennas, hitting him in the head. Oh, I guess they're in a bedroom at this point, right?
Yeah.
Because she hits him in the head with a bat. I'm like, good on you, Boo.
Yeah. And I think
demons.
I think this might be another element of like, because Pixar also, as like, they like to give little nods to like, you know, old Disney. They like to give little nods to their staff that are working. I think they also give a lot of nods to the Bay Area.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of like, I remember in Finding Dory, like when they're going around the circles, like every street that they're going, it's like an exit on Highway 880 in Emeryville.
Neat.
Yeah, like I remember that. But like, I think one of the colors, like she's banging him over the head. I'm pretty sure one of those colors is Oakland A's colors.
Oh, I have
like
to
just
go
kind of
back
a
and
little
look.
wink nod to the Bay Area.
Love it. So because Randall is overwhelmed with all the shit that Boo is doing to him and distracted, Sully is able to capture him. And so now Randall is contained. He throws him in a random door. And then you see like this exterior shot of a trailer seemingly in like Louisiana in the bayous. And they're like, Mama, it's a gator.
Another gator.
Randall dead. Randall dead.
And so,
oh my God.
Go ahead.
So just really quick, I was watching this with my kids yesterday to get ready for this. And like, there's that part where Mama's beating Randall with the shovel. And my 7-year-old is like, are they going to eat Randall?
Yes.
And I'm like, you know, probably. I don't know.
100% that was good. 100%.
I mean, you don't pass up good roadkill in some areas.
No, that's a gator. You
right?
You eat alligator. I've eaten alligators. Delicious.
Shout out to my country folk. You know who you are.
And also, this is the part where we get the nod, the Pizza Planet truck. Like whoever, probably the younger kid is a Pizza Planet delivery driver because the truck is parked outside the trailer.
And once Randall's in the trailer, they throw that door over the cliff and seemingly get smashed. Bye, Randall. Enjoy your dinner.
And then they are at a dead end because the CDA comes and stops them pretty much from being able to finally get them to Boo's door. And so they somehow now they're both on the same page again. Mike and Sully are Mike and Sully again after all the craziness and they had their fight. So now they're able to be able to kind of speak without speaking and trick some people.
Yes. So they run into another door. Mr. Waternoose is kind of after them now and is like, the child has seen too much. And so is that
great.
Thank you.
Yes. Yeah, they were slick. They were slick.
Yeah.
Like Mike ran one way with Boo's costume, and like the whole CDA went with him, and then Sully grabbed the door and went another way with the door and Boo, and he's like, "I'm gonna go to the simulation place, drop Boo's door in. We're gonna get Boo home." But Waternoose chases Sully.
Yes. And so Waternoose now reveals his evil plot on how numbers are down and we had to make a change. So we're just going to suck the screams out of these children. And it is revealed that number one, Sully does not have Boo, just a costume. And number two, they are in the simulator. So everything has been recorded. But is it also at this point where Sully growls really loud?
No, that was earlier.
Okay.
The first
Never
time.
mind.
Yeah.
Okay. And so
yeah, this time Boo is in on it. Like Mike runs away with the costume, and CDA is chasing him, but he runs into the control room so he could like record everything. Sully runs with Boo into the simulation room, and Waternoose reveals his secret plot and is just like, "Get out of my way! Like, we're doing this. Nothing's gonna stop me. Just move it." And then he finds out Boo's not in the bed. It's the mechanical kid in the bed. And then that's when the curtain goes up and gotcha.
Dare you.
Gotcha.
And then the biggest surprise of even that is Jackie's Roz. She has been a secret agent this whole time to take down this huge conspiracy and corruption that
2.5 years she's been on the case,
and Mike and Sully cracked the cake wide open in one night, one day.
And so she is sympathetic to the fact that Sully has this bond with Boo, but she's like, we have to send her back and we have to shred her door so I can give you 5 minutes to say goodbye. And Sully's just like, I can't, but he has to. And so he says goodbye. This is where we see a shit ton of Pixar stuff in her room.
Yeah.
We got the ball.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had a Jessie doll, which was the previous movie, right? Toy Story 2 came before Monsters, Inc. So we had a Jessie doll. Then we had the foreshadowing because we had Nemo, which was the next Pixar movie to come out. Yeah, clever Pixar.
I love it when they do that.
Which is funny because Mike Wazowski has cameos in Finding Nemo, Cars, WALL-E, and Toy Story 3.
Wow.
Love it.
Man's been around.
So Sully takes her in, tucks her in, and he's like, Kitty has to go. Says his goodbye. He's really sad. He leaves the door. She hops out of bed. She's no longer scared of her closet door. She opens the door to be like, where's Kitty? And it's just a closet. So they have closed the portal. They shred the door, and Sully takes a little sliver of the door as a memento of Boo. And he's very sad. And Mike tries to cheer him up by saying, at least we had some laughs. Right?
Just the most insensitive, ridiculous. Get out of my face. And
light bulb. But anyways.
Yes. And then we see it's in the future. Mike's doing stand-up. He's like, look at me, I'm a funny guy. Because
I
Go ahead, Danielle.
have questions.
Yes.
I have questions because I like that they finally added I like that they put some diversity in the children, because it's a Black child that Mike is trying his jokes on.
Mhm.
But that laugh at the end, not authentic.
It was a pity laugh.
Yeah, that's first of all, that kid look a little grown. So I know he had questions about what is this green ball, one-eyed thing with a stool.
Did Mike bring a stool every door he went into?
I don't know, but it was super weird and it wasn't funny. And
These are the jokes, Danielle.
I'm just very confused. And like, are the kids saying, yeah, this green thing came? I just want to know, like, the monster scaring you at night is so ingrained into the fabric of our lives as humans. How did they transition? How did they transition to the laughter? How do you explain, I'm a monster, but I'm a give you these jokes? We're gonna kiki it up tonight. Like, how are you doing?
Well,
that?
maybe because they replaced the big scary monsters, the scarers, with the sidekicks who are a little less assuming. They weren't
also,
like big scary monsters.
And that's also probably why the slapstick works. Like, you can't like you can't just have a monster come in and tell you jokes. You can be like, what the fuck? What the fuck is happening?
But you're not doing what the fuck is happening with a green ball.
No, I think you are. But once the slapstick comes, it's like, oh, this thing's ridiculous. Oh
Yeah.
my, ridiculous. It does, like, it could be any, like, the dude at the beginning, like with his ass full of jacks. Like that doesn't, it doesn't matter what you are. That's funny. Like, that's funny. And you can get over the fact that, like, wait, there's a monster in my room, but like, oh, he just fell down and he has an ass full of jacks. Like, oh, he just swallowed this microphone. That's ridiculous. Like, it's funny. So that's why
he has one eye. It's hilarious. It's called comedy, Danielle.
These are the jokes, Danielle.
I don't want them to come to my room. Don't make me. I don't want laughs. I don't want scares, because you're gonna try to come in and make me laugh, and I'm gonna be scared as hell. Because I'm a scaredy cat.
I'm gonna write that one down too. Don't sneak up on Danielle. Don't surprise her with comedy. Like,
and you know what, Nick? These are the rules.
So they do figure out, obviously, that laughter is 10 times more powerful than screaming. And so after Mr. Waternoose had been exposed
and incarcerated, because he's in jail,
Sulley is kind of the new head of Monsters Inc., and they have pivoted their business plan to making kids laugh at night instead of screaming and scared. And so they are on the cover of Business Shriek magazine. Celia brings it in all proud. Once again, Mike is super stoked. The barcode is over his eyeball this time, but he's on the cover of a magazine, and that's all that counts to him. And then you see everyone's happy, projections are up. And then Sulley has his little clipboard and he flips up like the paper he's working on, and it's a drawing of him that Boo did and that little sliver of door. And Mike says, I have a surprise for you, pulls him over, and Mike has reconstructed the door out of all of the shredded pieces. He's like, but it won't work unless we have all the pieces. So Sulley takes his little splinter and puts it in the door, and he's able to go in and see Boo, and like the last thing you hear is Kitty, and
my heart explodes.
Disney, yeah, it's me again. I got some problems. Yeah, I waited 20 years to watch this fucking movie. Where is my goddamn sequel? You gave me a prequel to go watch. I'm gonna watch it later, but I want the sequel, I want to see a reunion between Boo and Sulley. What's happening?
She's in Brave, Danielle.
Don't play me,
No.
Jackie.
That ain't it. That ain't it, Jackie.
That's not a reunion.
Like I remember, like I don't know, somewhere on the internet there was like a pitch for a sequel where it's like Boo is like a teenager and has like forgotten about Sully, like has grown up and grown to like, you know, into a teenage girl. But then like Sully comes back and the reunion is then, and kind of like it's this sparking of, and I'm like, I want that movie. Give me that movie.
Or even like now Boo's an adult and now Sully is like making her kids laugh or something.
That's my pitch. 100%. That's what I told Serena. I was like, maybe it's not, when you hear Kitty, maybe it's not Boo at all. Maybe it's actually her daughter. Because she drew pictures of Kitty and she showed her kids, and this is who I used to love, Kitty. And now the kids they knew exactly when they saw him come through, that's Kitty.
Because time moves faster in the human world. It's only been like, it's been 1 year in the monster world. It's probably been like 20 years in the human world.
Exactly. 100%.
Make it happen, Disney. Where are you?
Run me my check and Jackie's check.
And that
Not me, though. I'm
is
just a guest on this show. So
you can get like a fee.
some tickets.
oh, thank you. Thank you. I'll just take like in the credits, just be like, you know, and special thanks to. But I'm not getting paid. I'm just getting a line in the credits.
And that is Monsters Inc.
Nice.
We did it.
We did it.
I just want to point out that Fungus, Randall's assistant, was voiced by Frank Oz because I love Frank Oz.
And if you don't know who that is, he's legendary. You should know who that is. He's voiced some of your favorite monsters, like Cookie Monster, which we talked about in our in our trailer. Yoda. I mean, legendary. Look him up.
And if you haven't seen the shorts, the put this thing back where it came from, or So Help Me, or Mike's New Car, the shorts that are attached to this one are fantastic. They actually took that random, we're making a musical. They made a musical. and it's quite good.
And then I think lastly, they created a special trailer to show specifically before Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, which doesn't make sense though, because Harry Potter came out November 18th, 2001, and Monsters Inc. came out November 4th, 2001. I don't know. And then news leaked in the early fall of 2001 that this movie would feature the first teaser for Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the Clones. Hundreds of Star Wars fans paid admission for the movie just to see the teaser, and reportedly some left after seeing it. Those are some ride or dies right there.
Yep.
Star Wars fans are special.
All right. So Nick, we'll start with you. What is your present day rating of Monsters Inc.?
Oh, would buy it again. I think I own it on Blu-ray. I mean, I still love this movie. And like I said, like I watched it with my kids and they love it. And we love Monsters University. We love the new show Monsters at Work. Like we are all about it. I like all the reasons we said, like the characters, the chemistry, the love for Boo, like it still plays. It's still good. And it's fun to watch it with my kids. I enjoyed it when I was 17. I enjoy it now that I'm 37 and watching it with my children. I love it. I love it.
Jackie?
I'm torn. I do not own this movie, and I goodbye, Nick. Goodbye. I don't own it, and I own most Disney movies in multiple formats. Most Disney movies that I love. And I don't know, there are funny bits. I like the chemistry between Sulley and Mike. I don't know, it just doesn't resonate. I think I'm going 2-day rental. I'm sorry.
I question our friendship every goddamn episode. I really do. I really do. And you know what? Even though I did not watch this movie, I am glad that we did it for the show so I could watch it. I love this movie. It's a would buy for me. I'm not going to buy it, but that's how I pay my monthly subscription to Disney Plus.
If you didn't have Disney Plus, then you would consider purchasing this movie.
Perhaps. But my rating is would buy it. I think this is a fun movie. And now that I think about it in all the Pixar rankings, I definitely would place it higher. It just feels very relatable to my adult life from a work situation. And I'm sure if I had kids, this would even hit home harder. Yeah, this was a sleeper. 100%. Did not see this coming. Great movie. Great movie. Love it. Don't know what's wrong, Jackie.
I'm sorry.
Jack is a hate tank with a black heart, apparently.
I mean, like, just if I'm going through my Disney collection as a whole, not just Pixar, but like I want to watch an animated movie, I'm never gonna choose Monsters Inc. as that animated movie to watch. I'm sorry.
Well, okay. Well, if you feel the same way as Jackie or you disagree, you can hit us up on our socials and let us know. Our social handles are at No More Late Fees on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, YouTube. You can tweet us, you can direct message us. But if you want to leave a message and potentially be featured on an episode, you can do that. Jackie, to give the people the number. Sorry.
You can hit us at our quick drop 909-601 and MLF 909-601-6653. You can leave feedback, suggest future movies, say what you liked, disliked, corrections, hate on me for my opinions on Pixar movies. That's fine.
Yeah, I'm about to call. I don't have enough time. I'm going to call and I'm going to leave a message telling Jackie why she's wrong about this movie.
I hope I just get random voicemails that are just like, and another thing. And remember, you could be featured on a future episode. Just call in. And if you are international, you can always call and leave a message on our Anchor account as well.
And we have a voicemail, don't we, this week?
We do. Our friend Simone from the Roll Call podcast dropped us a line to talk about some of our spooky season movies. So take it away, Simone.
Hi, Danielle and Jackie. This is Simone from Roll Call Pod. I hope y'all are doing well. So I just finished listening to your scary movie episode and your Halloween H2O episode, which were both a true delight. I super appreciate spooky season. I know we were talking about that when we finished wrapping up and recording The Boy Next Door. I wanted to provide maybe an unpopular opinion, but I don't know why y'all were dumping on Shorty so much in Scary Movie. I was so surprised. He was a character. So I saw this movie when I was a kid, way too young to understand half the jokes and shit that they were making fun of and poking fun of. Like, majority of it went over my head. But I do remember loving Shorty and just thinking that he was just my favorite comedic relief besides Brenda / Regina Hall. Love her. So iconic. And I love her role even harder in the second one, which I don't know if y'all will do. But I also appreciated your commentary on Josh Hartnett's hair in Halloween because that was also a hot mess. But that's it. I just want to say how much I'm loving your show, how much it brings me so much joy in my morning commute. And keep it up. Love you, ladies. Bye.
Just laughing at this voicemail from Simone.
Yeah.
We love our roll call friends. They're
We
amazing.
do.
If you haven't checked out their podcast, definitely do that. If you would like to support the podcast, please consider leaving a 5-star review for us on Apple. We really appreciate it, and it helps us be able to be seen by other podcast lovers who will listen, potentially, hopefully. Fingers crossed.
And if you'd like to support us in another way, consider becoming one of our Patreon besties. Patreon.com/no more late fees. You can get exclusive content, stickers, Ask Me Anythings, polls, bonus videos, and lives, as well as my fantastic Spotify playlist cultivated from my burned CDs of high school and college.
Well, so thank you again for joining us.
Thank you so much. This was so much fun. I had a blast. This was
I'm
awesome.
so glad you stuck around, even though my opinions do not match your own.
And I was talking shit very early.
That's all
on.
right. They never have lined up. You've been wrong all your life, Jackie. So it's not.
That's fine.
That's fine. It's totally fine. Oh,
well, we love you.
It was a pleasure. I never got to tell you the story about how I got arrested from Hollywood Video, but
yes, you have to call in and tell your Hollywoods. I think you and Liz together need to call in and tell the story, like as a tag team.
Well, also this will not be the last time you come on the show.
Oh, we have you down for Heartbreakers.
Yeah, weird request, but love it.
That is one that, like, 2000 Y2K Nick loved, and I haven't seen it once in like 15 years, so I have no idea if it's going to hold up at all. Like, it might be an awful film. I don't know.
I'm excited for it. We'll go tag out Sarah.
Yeah, and
wonderful. We love her
so much for your support. Honestly, we really appreciate it. It's been very nice.
Yeah. Oh, no, it's been a pleasure. Y'all are doing great, and I'm happy to be a part of it.
Thanks.
So keep it up, y'all. It was a lot of fun.
Stay tuned next week, where we will be talking about the 2005 movie Man of the House.
And as always, be kind and rewind.